from the Environmental Protection Agency. I had the privilege yesterday in my role as the ranking member of the Science Committee to discuss the important work that your agency is doing to keep our air and clean and our water safe and the health and well-being of all Americans at the forefront of the national priorities. In my time here in Congress, I've served as both the ranking member and chairwoman of this committee's subcommittee on water resources and environmental. And during my tenure, we worked together and enacted into law alongside President Bush at the time the Brownfields Revitalization Act. At the time, there were over 500,000 such brownfield sites nationwide. And these are abandoned, of course, underused sites that represent a blight to neighborhoods, pose health and safety threats to our communities, and create a drain on economic prosperity. The city of Dallas, which I represent, was one of the first cities designated as a Brownfield Showcase community, and over 35 sites were selected and subsequently redeveloped within the city's jurisdiction. Barely $2 million jump-started that initiative in Dallas, and over $370 million in private investment was leveraged to create nearly 3,000 permanent full-time jobs. We built over 1,600 units of housing on these sites. I live in one of them, and brought about a wave of a sustained vitality of the city's core. And Mr. Stanislaus, we know that you have just outlined a number of things accomplished and also the benefits of what we have to gain by it, and I want to thank you. It's clear that brownfields cleanup and redevelopment are very important to our community and to our economy, and I hope that we can agree to continue to meet the President's budget request for this vital program. On a separate note, I want to briefly weigh in on the comments made regarding the Clean Water Rule proposed by EPA. Earlier this year, EPA Administrator McCarthy came before a joint House and Senate committee on this matter, and I said then and I'll say again that the science behind the rulemaking is sound. The EPA Office of Research and Development's report on the connectivity of streams and wetlands to downstream waters clearly states that the scientific literature unequivocally demonstrates that streams, regardless of their size or frequency of flow, are connected to downstream waters and strongly influence their function. The science is clear, the evidence is there, and I hope that we can lay to bed the question of whether or not the science of water connectivity downstream is based on evidence-based science. I think it is, and I think it is sound science. At the root of this debate is the issue of clean water, and I firmly believe that access and preservation to the vital resources utmost important to our communities. I've never met an American who did not want clean water. And so my question to both of you is, how extensive has the EPA efforts been to make sure to accommodate the concerns of various stakeholders, including our farmers, in the formulation of the Clean Water Rule?
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Our outreach to stakeholders has been unprecedented for the Office of Water in the Clean Water Rule. As I said, this rule was signed on March 25th. It was posted on our website that day. It was posted in the Federal Register on April 21, which began the actual period for public comment. We extended the public comment period twice for a total of 207 days to November 14th. We received in excess of 1 million comments. But perhaps even more importantly, during those 207 days, our agency held over 400 meetings, either in person, most were in person, or on webinars or teleconferences, where we engaged with every stakeholder group that we reached out to or that reached out to us. We do not believe that there is a single stakeholder group that was not afforded the opportunity to have a dialogue with us, and many of those stakeholder groups had multiple dialogues, both multiple times in Washington, but also because we held meetings in all 10 of our EPA regions. There were multiple opportunities for stakeholders to participate to participate in the dialogue and bring their own regional perspective to the discussion. So that's the amount of stakeholder involvement that we've had, and we are continuing to have stakeholder involvement. Not only have we talked with the states since the rule period closed, I have personally talked with members of Congress, and I've talked to several stakeholder groups as well.
Thank you very much. My time has expired.
Mr. Webster, you recognize 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for